Leonard Cohen once sang, "There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." It's a line many of us hold on to, usually when life sends us curveballs. It's a comforting thought, right? But lately, I've decided I have a problem with this line, like a really big problem. All due respect to the master and all, but I think he missed something important. Stick with me for a minute. Think about Kintsugi. If you've never heard of this, Kintsugi is the beautiful Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. It doesn't hide the breaks, it highlights them, suggesting the object is more beautiful, more valuable for having been broken and repaired. Now, picture this. I had a vase bought in Japan during my Air Force years. It wasn't just this ceramic decoration. It held memories and for me, symbolized my potential. One day, crash, shattered. And before I could even think about Kintsugi, a well-meaning friend swept away every last fragment. Gone. So in that moment, the Kintsugi question became impossible. You need the pieces to mend, right? What happens when the broken thing is simply gone? What are you left with? That question has lingered, haunted me, gotten under my skin because frankly, years ago, I began genuinely challenging the language I've heard and used myself around quote unquote brokenness. What does it mean to call ourselves broken? What does that imply? Okay, hear me out. Being a part of this choir, it's like having a hype team for your soul. They don't just see your struggles, they spotlight your sparkle. It's like you're trying to dust yourself off after a stumble and someone's already handing you a sequin jacket saying, "Darling, you are dazzling." It just hammers home why Cohen's line about cracks and light, while poetic, feels a little quaint. Like it doesn't take account of the full, unadulterated glitter cannon that is this choir. Take my friend Juan, for example. He's not just resilient. He radiates positive energy. Seriously. I even did this super informal, highly unscientific poll in the choir. And I asked, when you think of someone who shines no matter what, who comes to mind? The answers were overwhelmingly Juan. Followed with things like, definitely Juan. He's a human sunbeam. Juan could make a root canal feel like a spa day. And my personal favorite, Juan could find the bright side of a black hole. And simply, Juan is just pure gold. And that's it. That's the key to my question. Watching Juan, seeing his resilience not as something mended, but as something inherent, it flipped my perspective on that lost vase and on Cohen's words. We're often told or made to feel that hardship leaves us broken, cracked, or in need of fixing. I used to see myself that way. But maybe we're not the vase. Maybe the experiences, the cracks, they don't just let external light in. What if the cracks are the openings that finally let our own light, the inherent strength, the spirit, the resilience that was always inside, shine out? When the pieces of that vase were gone, what was left wasn't the broken object. When the pieces of that vase were gone, the object was lost, yes, but what remains is the experience, the person who went through it. That core self isn't broken. So that question I asked earlier in regards to Kintsugi and filling cracks with gold, what's left when you don't have the broken thing anymore? What you're left with, my friend, is pure gold. What remains is the experience, the person who went through it, and that core self, that's not broken. That's the gold. So maybe Cohen's line needs a new lens. There's a crack in everything, and that's how your light gets out. And nobody embodies that outward shining brilliance quite like Juan Cambell. He hasn't just survived. He's allowed the cracks in his journey to become the very avenues through which his powerful inner light, his strength, and his unique wisdom radiate out into the world. Today, you get to hear from Mr. Juan Cambell. Prepare to be illuminated.
You're listening to
Sounds
of the Sidewalk.
All right, welcome to Sounds of the Sidewalk. We have a special guest today. You want to introduce yourself, sir?
Yes, my name is Juan Cambell. I'm from the city of Chicago, state of Illinois, and I'm very blessed to be not only here in San Diego, but with the voices of our city choir members and the organization as well.
Today, we really wanted to bring you here to the podcast, Juan, because I feel like I feel like you've lived like multiple lives. I'm so surprised by everything that you've been through.
El
that
Gato.
It almost seems like it's not real everything that you've been through.
Yes.
And today we were hoping, going a little bit more deep into knowing who Juan is. Like,
Who is Juan?
What Juan has gone through, who he is,
Well, 20 years ago. No, there has been a lot. I know some people have said, like Morris the Cat, I've had my 9 lives. And a lot of that is true, but that's not what I want to really expose is all the negativity that's going on in my life. However, it has been a big part of it, just as it is now. As you see, I'm in a wheelchair. About a year and a half ago, in my truck on my way to work, something happened, and the rest was history. And so I'm dealing with the situation. I've accepted it. I had a lot of support from the group Voices. They had supported me while I was in the hospital and throughout my stay in my home. I'm now doing home care and so grateful to have a home. I was homeless for about 5 years out of the 9 that I've been here. And to have a place for the past 3.5 years has been such a wonderful blessing. And it's very important in my recovery because I'm no longer in the recovery nursing homes. I'm doing it at my house.
Right.
And I do believe this young man here to my left, Enrique, he was part of personally like making sure I'd get to the hospital when or my appointments when they were way down yonder and the buses stopped running at a certain point, and then so he would just drive me in to make sure I got there in time.
Yes, sir. I want to ask you, what was your first experience in contact with Voices of Our City Choir? Or before it became Voices of Our City Choir?
Right. So it would take us back, wow. Back to the good old days. I arrived 2016. May of 2016.
May of 2016.
I ran into a woman now known as Steph Johnson, who was crossing the path where I would lay my head. I had to work every morning, at least 4 times a week I went to work. And I noticed she was coming down the street where I laid my head in my tent, and she just came by with, I think there were 2 other women with her, one known as our co-founder, Naylenie Daring, rest in peace, and we love her. And the other woman, I don't know. And then there was Steph Johnson. And when they came, he started to question me by saying, "Hi, how you doing?" Well, my name is Steph Johnson. I'm a jazz musician player, whoop whoop, and we were thinking about starting a choir. Would you be interested? And I'm like, well, I love music and I pretend to sing, but I'm not a singer. I'm more of a speaker and a spoken word artist. And she said, "You'd be great." And that touched my heart. Yeah.
Before that, had you ever thought about singing, or had you ever been part of like a choir or anything like that?
Not with this voice, no. But I've done a lot of public speaking, born and raised in that. Correction. As I was being brought up, I was associated with an organization, and in order to progress and be a part of the ministry, you had to give 6-minute talks. So in front of 200-300 people. And then I had a experience with AT&T, better known as Cellular One back in the day, where I was a trainer for the new hires for 6 hours a day. And so the public speaking and interpersonal skills that I maintained was a blessing. And I still use those same skills today. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Except they're making money.
Yeah, because you even got, like that radio personality kind of voice, that I
Well-
would expect to hear on the radio.
This is WJUAN. No, a lot of people have mentioned that to me. I should be a voiceover or get involved in public speaking or do something with kids. And all of those things are part of me. I love kids. And yeah, and I still would, I'm doing the podcast with you, so there's a part of that radio, and then we're allowed to use the recording studio at the Voices, and this again, young man to my left, Enrique, is one of the engineers, and he really has a lot of knowledge, and we come up with some things together, and I get an opportunity to approve some things or shake some things off, and then he tells me to get out of here. No, he's real good. I've made several tracks for my own personal work. There's sometimes I use covers of instrumental from the other pioneers of the music business, and being a part of producing it and performing it. I have several pieces that are performed using some choir members I invite to help me produce and create my things, and they participate. We go out and perform it. And I can say all of the pieces that I've done so far that I performed, there's been 3, using other choir members and helping me do that really brings out the piece. Yeah, without just my voice on there, it's like, But then you have another artist on there singing the verses while I do the talking. Yeah.
And how does it feel? How does that help you to be creative and to create these spoken word pieces and to be able to perform them?
Well, being from, as a seasoned individual, I've had the opportunity to listen to some of Motown's greatest, Quincy Jones, Berry Gordy, Michael Jackson, Prince, all of that. I've watched those guys grow as I grew, and seeing what they did. Did I ever have a desire to do it? I don't know. It's cool. Yeah, you call some of your friends, oh, I got to go to the studio. Excuse me. But being a part of that has not coming to California or going to New York to be a performer in any capacity is truly a blessing, truly a treat. Thankful for the organization too of our director having the connections and the support from not only our viewers, not only the people that come to our concerts, but those who help finance us. Eternally grateful for them all. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you seem like a natural born performer. You look so comfortable, and it's very natural. I feel like it comes natural to you. Every time I see you up on a stage, whether it's performing with a choir, or even when you have a part where you speak and you speak to the crowd, it feels very natural. Mm-hmm. Going back a little bit to when you met Steph and everybody, when you first met them, did you ever, was your first thought, yeah, I'm going to join this? Or were you hesitant at first?
This might get cut out. So no, when I first saw Steph, hadn't met her yet, it was probably not so good thinking. I just saw 3 young ladies walking down the street towards us, and I'm like, what are they doing on our street? And then she started talking, and she said, hi, my name is Steph Johnson. I'm a jazz musician. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, how you doing? Calm down, Cam. Calm down. So it was one of those things. It was definitely out of respect, and with all due respect, my thoughts changed to paying attention to what she was saying. Yeah. And I felt, and I remember being interviewed at our PBS channel. Probably November of that same year, 2016. I was interviewed, and I just pretty much said, after being involved with the group for that short time, that this is a movement. Yeah, this is a movement. All the negative things about low-income housing, the homeless, the shelterless, and what we were trying to do, singing messages and giving our love through music and our agape love that we're encouraged to share on a daily. Yeah, and I still feel that way.
What's been your favorite part of being involved in this creator community? What are some highlights that that you'd like to share with some of the viewers?
Okay, well, I'll mention two extremely positive ones that I really felt attracted to was our invitation, America's Got Talent. That was probably the biggest thing on a personal note. And then the other one was perform with San Diego Symphony. Being with all of those professional instrumentalists was definitely an accomplishment. A third one was with our documentary, yeah, and being at least mentioned on the Emmys for a short best film. Come on, it's like,
didn't know that.
as I tell my story, it becomes more unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because it is unbelievable.
Yeah, I'd seen that documentary. A lot of people might not know, but part of the reason I came to Voices was when I was in prison. I watched the documentary, and then I got paroled, and I was on parole for like 2 years in LA working in the same in nonprofits. But once I was up there 2 years, my parole officer called and said, "Hey, I got good news for you, Rivera." I said, "Well, what's up?" She's all, "You're free." So once she told me I was free, I was supposed to be on parole 7 years, but once she told me I was free after 2 years, I was like, dude, I can move back to San Diego, because I was born in Tijuana and grew up in South San Diego.
Right.
And I looked up on Indeed, and I was looking for work, and I seen Voices. I said, man, I wonder if that's the place that I seen the documentary on. So I didn't even know about America's Got Talent, but I started doing some research. I'm like, man, it's them. So I ended up doing the interview with Steph and Beck, and I ended up getting an offer. So I ended up moving back to San Diego after being free 2 years. So it's a trip how it connects.
Yeah. And excuse me, Enrique, it's come to my mind. I do believe that you were here, and one of in the beginning of your adventure here with Voices, you were helping me look for a home.
Yeah.
A place to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like, who is this guy? How is he gonna, as you mentioned, comes out of prison? How can he help me? Well, you know what? We're people too. And in life is so weird, so strange, so twisted. You can be an innocent man and end up doing 30 years in prison, which one of the gentlemen at America's Got Talent was. He was completely innocent, but he had to do the time. So when you look at that negatively, no, it's positive. I'm sure he shared with us many times of his story, and just to have the confidence to do that is remarkable.
What is something that people don't know about Juan?
Good question.
You don't mind sharing?
No, I don't. I have a genuine, I'm going to use that word again, agape love for everybody. And I'm eternally grateful that I'm not an evil person, and that I would give the shirt off my back or the vest off my back if it would need be, without question. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally see that because, you're Juan. Like, it's so hard to describe you because it's like it's Juan. Like, you know, it's like you are your person and
Yeah.
you're so authentically yourself that
Yeah.
it's beautiful to see.
And those who know, and I'm going to admit, being from Chicago, at times I had this tough guy image coming here, spent time in Seattle, which was a great experience. Wouldn't exchange it for the world. I gave a part of bringing life into Seattle with a daughter who's now 28 and great. But they shaking that tough guy image. Oh yeah, I'm from Chicago. No, okay, drop it. You're in California now. So there had been, I was never violent, but it's just that calmness of, you know what? I don't have to be that tough guy no more. I can be tougher in other things. I can be tough in surviving these accidents. I can be tough producing my music, my spoken word pieces and things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like over the years you've seen those changes then, like you know, having that tough exterior, because I feel like especially when you come from like a hard city, because last episode we were talking to somebody from they were from the Bronx. You know, it's a rough city. You know, it builds you up to have that rough exterior, that non what would be the correct word for that?
Front shot.
I don't know what the correct word is, but it really is like that rough shell that you're pretty
Oh,
much
yeah.
ready for anything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes people can mistake that as just being aggressive when in reality it's not really that. It's just like a protection, a wall, I guess, because you have to have it in a situation like that.
Well, I would look at it, especially in my case, as a determination and as a focus. It's like by any means necessary, I'm going to get that job, or I'm going to get that apartment, or I'm going to get that spoken word done, or I'm going to get it to a radio station. And I had the benefit of having my material appear on on the radio station Paradigm Radio out of Oregon, and it went on tour for 6 weeks. And come on, who am I?
Nice.
Yeah.
You're a strong, resilient person. If I know one, it's you. Honestly, you are a strong, resilient person because even going back a little bit, you know, when was it? I would say like 2 years ago I remember when the day you had your accident. I remember I was so shocked. Like I was so shocked, but then I remember also hearing like that was like your 9th accident. I was like, this man is made of steel. Like dang. In that moment, for some reason I felt some relief because I was like, it's Juan.
Yeah, I'm gonna make
Juan's
it
gonna
some
make
kind
it
of way. I'm
right.
gonna pull it through.
And then even more so when I heard that in the past you had already been paralyzed and you walked again.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just made me feel like, man,
Yeah.
is one of the most resilient persons I know.
Well, again, I don't like to highlight, my injuries, but they happen, and they couldn't have happened to a nicer person. So it happened to me. Why God felt that maybe I can handle it, but let me slow him down because he's moving way too fast. Let me slow him down a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's like really accepting the fact that okay, I might have been going fast because I'm always, either working or doing this or doing that or helping somebody out or trying to be a part of something. And it's kind of like just slow down. And sometimes it's a divine intervention to me. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was on my way to work, but in this situation, I was on my way to work. But it's just a message to say, hey, I'm not in control. Yeah.
You're still so strong. You've come a long way, honestly.
Yeah.
And if anything, what I can say from then to now, I feel like our relationship has been stronger. And from then to now, I feel like we have such a beautiful relationship that I really enjoy speaking to you and just listening to you.
Yeah, and
I feel that's kind of where it started.
And you've made that. You shared that with me a couple of times, and I also remember the first performance that we did, and you just started, and I'm like, "Are you? Who are you? Oh, my name is so and so and so and so." And then you share it with me what position you were taking. I'm like, okay, well, welcome to Voices, and yeah, I remember that day. Yeah.
But I'm so grateful because every time I talk to you, it's something different. Like I'm like yesterday when we were talking about the episode, you shared with me that you really wanted to talk about support.
Yeah.
And how support has affected you in your life in
Yeah.
different ways.
So the support is not only ongoing, it's in very different areas. It's even just support to get employment, to go back to school, to get involved in the studio that they have. They have other classes here that are very important, like soul space and songwriting. The support, and they help us out with our food. They have even employed people here, and we have partnered up with a very beautiful organization called La Jolla Playhouse. That connection has been awesome.
So what is something important that you like to champion for Voices, or what kind of message would you put out
Well,
there?
I would definitely, my message goes out to the supporters, those who donate their time, some of their finances, and some ideas. Definitely is key. The events that we put on, the help that we get from staff, our producers, our other members of the choir. And one thing is, it's like, don't think of us ever as we're not important as a members of society, because we had challenges with housing. Being homeless or shelterless, it's my first time since I've been living. I'm a seasoned young man, and it's been I've never experienced homelessness until I got here to San Diego 9 years ago. And that's about when the choir started, a little later on in that year, 2016. So many talented people from the streets. And our group is made up of more than just the unsheltered.
Right.
Supporters, board members. So I think to think of us that we're nobody, that we don't have a voice, well, come to one of our gigs and you'll see how much of a voice we have. I'm starting to become, as I was in Seattle, I'm starting to become sleepless in San Diego because of these events that are coming up. I'm so looking forward to it. It's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Come on, hurry up. Become 7 o'clock so I can start to get ready to come. I was looking forward to this podcast when you shared with me, when you and your staff shared with me when it was going to be. So I've been up since like 5. Caregivers don't come till 9, but just being ready for it. Yeah. It's going to be our first ever historical, visual, and live recording session of our 8 original songs.
8 original songs.
And that's a testimony of truth. Yeah.
Yeah, especially, I mean, for you, you've been with the group for a while because you went to America's Got Talent, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And you've been since 2016. So with this being the first live album recording, what does it mean for you? Like, what does
it means that,
like, how do you feel with it?
I know our founder, Steph Johnson, once told me, just trust in the people that I bring along and put on staff. Just trust in me. And I know why she said that, because sometimes people question a change in position and change. Somebody leaves or somebody moves on, But I know why she said that. She just basically said, I got this. I'm gonna protect you. I'm gonna be with you. And if somebody asked me how did, I shared with you how me and Steph met. But what I haven't told you is how she used to refer to us, the whole choir at that time, a party of 12. Then it grew to be 15, 25, so on and so on. But she referred to us when she introduced us to the audience or to her friends, that these are my friends. So before we were anything, we were her friends. And that took me by, it took my heart. Of course, she's my mom now, but that's a different story.
And how does it feel to see, because you went from, seeing this organization at its first, when it was first conceived, and now where we at now, how did it feel to be part of and to watch this organization grow?
It's like watching a plant grow. You don't actually see it until time passes, and then you see where you've come from and where you are. And when I see where we come from, even the numbers, there was 12 of us. When we started performing, it was 12 of us. Although I remember it was when it was 5. I was the 5th person. But it's grown now to where the numbers, I believe I counted at our practice last Monday. I think it was 67, 68.
Right.
So to see, we go from, we're a choir to an organization. Remarkable. Yeah.
Yeah, even especially because I would imagine like that first interaction, would you ever think that, you would have gotten to this point, you went to America's Got Talent, you're about to record your live album, just all these twists and turns that have gone on throughout the years. Did you ever imagine?
Well, I'm not Michael Jackson, but this is
Got the glove, though.
This is a thriller, and being a part of the thriller, it's a roller coaster ride. You just hold on.
Yeah. Who was your favorite person that you met at America's Got Talent?
Well, we got to go Simon Cowell.
Simon Cowell?
Simon Cowell. We
you have a picture with him, no?
Well, there is a picture that exists. There was also it's when we won the Golden Buzzer. I kind of had a little incident where I teared off the stage because I was on one of the tallest ones. I was on the end, and the guy that was next to me was 6'5". I'm only 6'2". Well, when I'm standing, and when we celebrated, when Terry Crews hit the buzzer, he knocked me over off the stage. So I was a little late getting back around. And so when I got back around, everybody's tackled on top of each other. I can remember walking, and I just saw Steph Johnson with about 3 or 4 other people. And so I just put my arms around the whole group. And then I turned around to the crowd and started waving at the crowd and throwing the confetti at them. And then Simon was just standing over there. And so I went up to him and said, "Excuse me, do you think your son is ready to take on your empire?" And he looked at me with a smile, and he opened his arms for an embrace. And he says, "Yes, I think I've got him ready." And then I turned around and put my 2 thumbs up and shook my head. So he was the person. Before any of this cat started 10 years ago, I was always hoping one day if I had to meet somebody, who would it be? And that would have been, and it was Simon. Yeah. So talk about dreams come true that you don't really think about or dream about. But yes, it was a dream until that came true.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you fell off the stage.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. It's pretty surprising
Well,
to hear now.
It used to be on the footage. But as I watch them now, they have several different types of footage at the thing. And so it's still on one, but it has been edited out of the other ones, and I don't look for it to show anybody. It's just that if you see it, as soon as Terry Crews hits the golden buzzer, we celebrate and then I tear off. Yeah. And, they're going to edit out all the other stuff.
You got up though, huh?
But you can't you can't edit out the fact that we experienced it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you cannot edit
No.
that
No.
out.
That's
Yeah.
like a once in a lifetime type of ordeal, to be able to be on that stage and
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
the people, roar.
Push-ups, sir. Push-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, we're not a competition choir.
Right.
I felt that when we were going into it, it was beautifully and lovely to be part of the audition. But it's like you got 50 guys named Mo, Curly, and June hitting the stage. We don't really, we only know each other through the choir, right? So to be part of it and to go semifinal all the way to semifinalists was a win. Yeah. It was a win. Yeah. So it wasn't. It's like we're not competing now. We're competing to be the best that we can be every day.
Right.
Yeah. We're not trying to compete to be better than the Martin Luther King choir or the Oasis choir or the Jiminy Cricket choir.
Yeah, if anything,
Jiminy
I feel like
Cricket
it's a
choir.
very supportive environment. I see choir members supporting each other all the time.
Yeah.
Whether it's, lending a helping hand or even just lending a shoulder to listen or just an ear or something.
Yeah. And for me, it's overwhelming in this sense. I felt that type of support before I got into this particular accident because unfortunately, I've been hurt prior to, right? But it's extremely comfortable, but uncomfortable feeling. I say comfortable because everybody's so willing to help. But sometimes I feel it's so much help. It's like, can I just try? Can I do this? Can I try and grab this bag here that I can't see, but they don't look fast? Can I get my own food? But they're so willing to help. And so sometimes, it's a challenge to say, no, I got this. I appreciate you though. Yeah. But it comes in abundance. And, I don't feel because it's like that because I'm in a wheelchair. No, I think it's just like that because I've seen others pull chairs out for people, help them with their plates, help them with their bags,
Yeah, because I feel
help
like
them get home.
what's it called? Support shows up in many different ways.
Yeah.
It like I said, it can come from an action. It can come from just being there.
Yeah.
But even with support, have you feel your feelings towards support or accepting it have changed over the years? Because at least for me, sometimes it's difficult to accept that support or even ask, like, hey, I need some help. And with the years, I feel like it's been easier for me to even reach out and say, hey, I need help, or hey, I need just someone to listen.
And I've known you've talked to me about that, and you even shared, well, why don't you ask for help? Being, brought up in this spiritual realm of, I won't mention the organization, but I do know a scripture in the Bible talks about there's more happiness in giving than there is in receiving. And that's where I get stuck. Yeah, I get stuck in the giving. But what makes my giving appreciative is people accepting it and seeing their joy, right? So if I say no to somebody who's trying to be helpful, then I'm taking away their giving, their experience. So I do and am aware and I work on accepting other people's gifts and their help and their support, So let's just say I say yes more often. And it's helped me out. It's helped me out psychologically and it's helped me out in the mental. It's that same thing. It's helped me out. Helps me out in my heart too. Yeah.
I really am thankful for you coming here for this podcast. I know you're a leader in the choir. I know you've been here for a long time, and you're part of the community, and you're an inspiration as well. You know, it's always good to see somebody, not give up, but
Mm-hmm.
continue to live life, continue to, do the things that we love,
Mm-hmm.
and it's I see that in you. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
come in the studio, you're ready to, do your spoken words, and you're like,
Yeah, stay
hey,
ready.
Dr. Dre, when am I gonna get my next studio session? And that's inspiring,
Yes. Yes.
so I'm really thankful for the opportunity to know you, and to, be able to walk alongside of you too, and help out when I can,
Mm-hmm.
and step away when I need to.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great pleasure having you here today.
Well, I certainly appreciate the consolidated effort to making this day possible, making the podcast possible. Thank you.
Okay, I want to end this podcast with um one of your spoken words. I'm gonna let you decide right now which one you want to have at the end of this podcast to share with our listeners.
That's cold. That's cold blooded. You put me on the spot. So what I'll do is I want to change that to what song that we have sung, and I'll do it in a spoken word fashion, and at least a little bit, so you can have an idea. I would have to say, nice try though. No Love Dying Here by Gregory Porter.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes I feel that that little bird that they're talking about is me. And it says something to this effect: a little bird that flew in through the window simply lost his wing. We helped him heal, and then he flew away. Yeah, Gregory Porter, 2-time Grammy Award winner. Yeah. It's one of my favorite songs that we sing here. It used to be our anthem. And it's also a song that I can change into spoken word. But yes, I have several releases called Who Am I?
Cool.
Go to the YouTube channel. And then I have one called What Is Love, Love Is, that I currently perform still at other venues. And then I have God Have Mercy. That's a solo. DeForest Hancock is one that helps me with the duet parts,
Shout out to Dee Dee,
Yeah, shout out to
AKA Dee Dee.
the big sister.
Yes.
Yeah, so right before we go, is there one piece of advice that you would like to leave for our listeners?
I would have to say, let go and let God. Accept the help that you get. Appreciate those who are responsible for you eating, getting something to eat, getting a shower, putting a Band-Aid on you. Don't take it for granted, because just because it may be their job, you want it to be their love. Continue with all the organizations that you have an opportunity to support, sometimes even the animal organizations, but we're human. We're only human. And we ask that we continue to get your humanitarian support for our group, for those who struggle, for those who are still shelterless, and support an organization that really is built on love.
Right on.
Hello, this is Natalie Bradley, co-director and music program manager here at Voices. Just wanted to say thank you for listening to our podcast. Special thank you to the individual donors and Conrad Prebys Foundation for your support. Please rate, review, and follow. It helps others find us. If you'd like to check out a show or upcoming community event, please visit voicesofourcity.org. Till next time.